Now I'm pulled by a vision instead of pushed by the past. This inner guiding light through the night will last. I know I'm safe 'cause I don't have to run so fast. And I am pulled by a vision instead of pushed by the past. Sing with me if you like. I'm pulled by a vision instead of pushed by the past. This inner guiding light through the night will last. I know I am safe and I don't have to run so fast, 'cause I am pulled by a vision instead of pushed by the past. Sitaram, 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 sitaram. Sita and Ram are names in the Hindu tradition that open the heart of Hanuman, open the heart of selfless service and devotion. It's the lover and the beloved within. It's what Mahatma Gandhi chanted and said to find courage in difficult times. So if you like, chant with me one more round, Sita Ram, on this very special New Year's Eve. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. One more time, my friends. Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram.
Oh, it is so wonderful to hear Gina's voice. Gina Salah is here with us this evening. Let's just allow that idea to permeate our being. That we can be pulled by a bright, powerful, inspired future. Some of us are pushed by our past, and some of us are just running from it. And yet, when we open our heart, when we allow ourselves to chant whatever name for God inspires us, whether it's Sita Ram or Krishna, 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 or Jehovah, or Jesus. Or as my wonderful friend Belazov said, the big enchilada. Whatever inspires us, when we allow ourselves to repeat that over and over and over again, something happens to us physically, mentally, and emotionally. What a wonderful way to start this service, this gathering, this holy time of transition. So just allow yourself to rock a bit. Let yourself recall that chant. And as the rabbis would rock during their prayers, just allow yourself to rock. Babies love it. Our inner children love it. And happy New Year. for a very long time, New Year's was my favorite holiday because at that time I was still working out my relationship with Jesus, so it took a while. But so New Year's was safe and sane, and I loved it. I love any time that there can be a new beginning, and we can have a new beginning anytime. Anyone who's decided to join a 12-step program as a new beginning. We get a new job, it's a new beginning. We end a job, it's a new beginning. I mean, there's all sorts of new beginnings, but it's kind of fun to be in the consciousness of millions of people thinking we could have a new beginning, especially this year. Yeah, I know, woohoo! So this for a while was my favorite holiday, but before I go there, were you guys jazzing it up the theme song to Friends? Well, that's just sad. See, Friends. That's a theme I wish I'd had last year, was seeing Friends. But you guys did a great job. It was wonderful. It was really fun. So this is going to be a different service. This particular service used to be a pre-party gathering, and people would wear festive gear and be ready to go out and party, or not, but people would get all dressed up and be here, and we would do really cheery songs, and it was celebration time, and, it's just a different year. And so we're doing things differently. I love that we can take old traditions and put them into new trappings. Still New Year, but as Tim, my husband Tim came with me tonight, and he said, there's hardly any traffic. Why? Where would they go? I mean, really? And I hope they're not going anywhere. Stay home, stay safe, or stay far away. Stay far away. So this is the time that I would gather with people, and we would discuss what happened the year before, and then we would talk about our dreams for the new year, and set high and holy intentions, and it would be very rah-rah. Well, it's not quite rah-rah this time. So it's a little bit different. Instead, I would love for this to be still a high and holy time for intentions. Why not? It is still a new beginning. We can still intend things. I'm going to talk about that. But it's also time to heal. I almost brought a statue. This is a beautiful statue, but I almost brought one from home, which is one of the Hindu gods with three faces. One facing into the past, one facing into the future, and one facing into the present. And it's really a beautiful symbol for it's all going on at the same time. It really is going on at the same time. And so as we are just about ready to step into 2021, and I love it. I don't know if I believe this. I really don't. But according to Facebook, and according to astrologers, there are some good alignments happening in 2021. And so I'm just going to believe that and just say it's going to be a great year. Why not? Why not? And if it is going to be, it's because it is now and it has been. It's all wrapped up together. And I can just trip out on that, but really what I want us to do is to heal, to be as full and rich in our experience of tonight so that we take that fullness and that richness into our expectation of tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. So when you need to heal, you also need to breathe.
This is a healing moment. Take all the time you need. Breathe. It's how the gates will open. My darling, I believe in you. Sing that with me if you like. Breathe. This is a healing moment. Take all the time you need. Yes. with me, breathe with me. Breathe. This is a healing moment. Take all the time you need. Breathe. That's how the gates will open. Are you ready to receive? At times like this, when we find those spots that run so hard, trying to not get caught, seems so real, those monster thoughts. We need some love to connect the dots, and so breathe. This is a healing moment. Take all the time you need. Breathe. It's how the gates will open. My darling, I believe in you. I went down, so deep, dark down, people falling all around. Swallow me up in the ground. Oh, then in the deep, dark earth, feel the sea break open to possibility. Such a mystery, how it grows into a powerful tree. And so with it we breathe. Breathe. This is a healing moment. Take all the time you need. Breathe. Let's let those gates to open. My darling, I believe in you. Like this, like this, like breath by breath, like this, like this, like this. Waves upon the shore, never-ending kiss. In this moment, in the deepest love, there's nothing to hide, no. In this moment, you're beloved like this, just as you are. Yeah, like this, like this, like this. So breathe. This is a healing moment. Take all the time you need. Breathe. It's how the gates will open. Are you ready to receive? Big breath in.
I wonder if the universe wasn't saying to us all through the year, oh, just breathe. Take a breath. Because so much came to either a stop or a huge slowdown. So if we were gathered here tonight, it would be fun. Even if we had a small group of people, we'd gather around in a circle, socially distancing, of course. And I would just want to just have a significant conversation. I'd love for you to have a significant conversation with me. A conversation that had meaning for you. So I'll ask some questions and just see what bubbles up. You can put your responses in the response columns. I'll look at them later. Or write in a journal or jot it down on the quickest piece of paper you can find. Because sometimes when you're asked a question, when we've taken the time to slow down and we breathe, someone can ask you a question and you will come up with an answer you had no idea that you would come up with, because there's no time for the logical brain to come up with something clever. It just bubbles up from the subjective. So I'll ask some questions. What did you learn this year? What did you learn? What did you acquire in your personality, not in your bank account or your closet or wherever you keep your shoes? What did you learn? I'm paraphrasing, but Emerson said something like this: what has become clear to you since last we met? Isn't that a beautiful saying? And I know some of you tune in once in a while. Some of you are every week, but some of you just turn in once in a while. So let's say that you were here last year and you're here again. In this year, what has become clear to you? Because that's what you'll take with you. When we lay this body down, all of our material possessions will go with it. And maybe even some of our connections, not the love connections, but other connections, our identity, who we are, what we did, that'll all just go back to the dust. But what we learned, what we acquired in consciousness, will stay with us. It's ours. It's ours. That's what's really ours. So just take a deep breath and breathe. What did you acquire this year? What became clear to you? I noticed that for me, what became clear is that sometimes we just don't have to put up with some things. Tim and I, it was my idea. I shouldn't say Tim. He's, God blessing me, put up with it. But I didn't want to buy a dog. I thought we should get a rescue dog. Well, sometimes rescue dogs come with their own baggage you didn't see. And ours liked to run off. He would just run and get really dirty, and 3 or 4 hours later, after calling for him and watching him chase cars and run through the muddiest thing he could run through, he would come back happy, happy, happy dog. Dirty, 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 dirty dog. And it just got so tiring. And he loved to run, so if we would open the door, he would be off. And 2 or 3 hours later, 4 hours later, he'd be back. So our life revolved around keeping an eye on that dog. Not really enjoying him, but keeping an eye on him. Until we finally just got tired of it and got one of those invisible fence things that I thought I would never get. That's for those people. I love knowing he's not going to run away, because he's not going to run away. So what I learned is sometimes you just need help and stop coping with things that really wear you down. That's what I learned. One of the things I acquired, what became clear to me. So take a deep breath now. This is like a conversation. I told you mine. What did you acquire? What became clear to you this year? Because there were challenges. And sometimes we don't know what's really important to us until we're challenged. Just write that down. Put it in the chat. I'd love to know. The other thing that I think is important, because that's kind of a gain. It was a gain. We gained something. And you need to give yourself credit. I acquired more patience. So I'm not saying I did, but if I did, I think I had to have patience. But if you acquired patience, give yourself some credit. If we were here, I'd have you patting yourself on the back. We'd get into it like, whoa, I did this. This is important, because whatever you acquired, you can take with you. You can take with you. And hopefully we acquired something more than just, COVID overweight. What are you going to take with you? Now give yourself credit. And the next thing I want to talk about, because this is so, I don't think I've talked about it enough. And I don't want it to be a downer. Actually, it's an upper. But I need to talk about that, and that is we need to acknowledge that there was huge loss in 2020. So many people have lost family and friends to COVID, and people have lost their jobs, and people have lost connection, and people are responding to that with anxiety and depression and uneasiness, and it's tough. But here's the deal. Loss happens because it is the way of change. The way of change, the Tao Te Ching, the way of change is always going to show forth as loss. At the same time, it's a gain. See, the material world that we live in, it will change, we will experience loss, and it's the soul that is steady. So sometimes in loss, we actually gain a greater insight into our soul and its own steadiness and its own strength, and that's a plus. If that happened for you, pat yourself on the back, because if you gained that insight, that's a pearl of great price. That's amazing. So we need to acknowledge our losses, and we need to acknowledge that people in our country have died and the world have died. We need to acknowledge that because of this pandemic, we have had economic upsets and people are in distress. We need to acknowledge that people who are shut away can feel incredibly cut off from the world. We need to acknowledge that. And hopefully, in that acknowledgement, there will be some grief. When we lose, we grieve. I was talking to a friend who has had 2 significant family members die just recently of COVID. I mean, significant. And it's rocked the family. And what is so interesting is that sometimes when we are of this particular philosophy, and I've said this on Sunday, but when we're in this particular philosophy, we want to make it all seem like it's cool, like I'm not touched. Well, be touched. Grieve. Don't bypass a significant part of living, which is grieving. This is the download I had this morning when I was thinking about grief, and I just want to share it with you because I mentioned Bo Lazoff, and he inspired this for me. He was also he was a Jewish Hindu and part of the Hanuman tradition, and he would chant Sita Ram, so it's all wrapping together. And he said, there will be one day when either Sita, that was his wife, she renamed herself Sita, he said, either Sita and I will die, one of us will die, one of us is going to go first, and the other one is going to have such grief. But we can't avoid the grief. And this is the word he said, and then I'm just going to add to it. Because grief is nothing more than love with a bad reputation. And that which is loved or has been loved deserves recognition. Therefore, we need not deny our grief as long as we acknowledge the love that created it. The love will take over and reveal the innate wholeness within. When that happens, what was once lost is transformed into a win-win. A win for the griever and a win for the universe. because heaven is reestablished on earth. There's a poem by Hafiz that wonderful Gina turned into a song. And in Hafiz, he said, because the one I loved lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. And well, we're not supposed to lean into people right now, no matter how much we love them. It's like, because the one I love lives inside of you, I will stay as far away as I can. You know, that's the truth. But what if we really let this song not be about people, but the situations that have hurt us or made us grieve? It would be like, because the one I love inside of you, or inside of this, because the one I love lives inside of this. In the midst of the grief for this community and for our nation and for all of the lives that we've lost, whether it was through COVID or through social unrest, and to name all those people and to recognize it, we don't close down, we open up and we lean in, because what we will discover when we lean in is the ultimate reality of life, which is love. We grieve, we feel bad because love wants out. Love wants to be acknowledged. Gina.
I just have to sing that phrase that you sang so beautifully. Because the one I love lives inside of you, and this I'll lean as close in as I can. I open to the grace of transformation, knowing it's all here for my good. And I put my faith in that which orchestrates the universe, unfolding as it would. And so I let go and I let God, and I open to love in my life today. What arises I choose to face as I embrace the middle way. And so I let go and I let God, and I open to love in my life today. What arises I choose to face as I embrace the middle way. And all these changes come and some are not so easy, but I know things aren't always what they seem. Just like the eggshell breaks apart, so naturally there is a letting go that lets the baby chick go free, and we are free. So we let go and we let God, and I open to love in my life today. What arises I choose to face as I embrace the middle way, see. And so I let go and I let God, and I open to it all in my life today. What arises I choose to face as I embrace the middle way. And teachers come in lots of forms. I give thanks for all these teachers, those who've crossed my path in many ways. And when I see how hard I've tried to hold on, sometimes I've got to laugh or cry. So I let go and I let God, and I open to love in my life today. What arises I choose to face as I embrace the middle way. And so we let go and we let God, and we open to love in the life today. What arises we choose to feel as we embrace the middle way, as we embrace and choose to stay right here, right now.
Well, I was talking to the people in this room, which, we have James is on bass, and Gina Salah is our vocalist. Jaw's on piano. Zach is back with us on drums. Good to see you, Zach. Beverly's over there with the guitar and also producing this whole thing. Thank you. Our production team is Guy and Eric and Bruce. Thank you so much. I know, woohoo! And house manager is Patrick. Thank you. So it took a bit of this to happen. I'm really grateful. I love it. There's stuff going on. So what I want to do now is we're switching things around. How they got to this is that we were talking about the movie Soul, which is on the Disney Channel. It is beautiful, it is wonderful, and it's about jazz and a whole bunch of things. It's about a whole bunch of things, but a running theme is jazz and how jazz you play off of things. So I'm going to shift things a little bit. Stay alert. It's because I want to go back into intentions now and just talk about that, because I want us to acknowledge what has been, our learning, what we're taking with us, our losses, and then, as Gina was singing, are we going to be pushed by the past, or are we going to be pulled by the future? So intention setting is allowing yourself to envision a future that is so enticing that it pulls you to it, and that you find yourself able to do things that you didn't think you could do, and things kind of come together in miraculous ways to support you in moving towards that future. But it's got to be a future you love. See, a lot of times, not in this particular center, but in other places when people are just doing resolutions, their resolution is usually to correct what they don't like right now. And that's not enticing. That's running from something. That's being pushed by your past. It's about correction instead of inspiration, or desperation instead of inspiration. So, since this is really all about love, love is a power to allow yourself to know what you could intend in the new year that you would love, that will pull you. It will pull you, and things will come together. An intention is not a game plan. An intention is an idea held in mind that draws to it everything that it needs for its fulfillment. So, an intention should be something that bubbles up from the heart. So let's do a little meditation. Take a deep breath. And let's pretend, I'm going to envision, here's my heart's desire, that people could be in this room next year. Besides you. I know there's people in this room, but besides the few people in this room, wouldn't it be nice to have a celebration with people? So please imagine that you're here. I'd love for you to be here. See yourself standing next to people that you love, or people that you just got to meet, or people that you got to sing with, or people that you've seen around because we've been together. Imagine that. Imagine that. Now imagine that you're celebrating something, that you are so happy. There's something that just fills your heart, and you are so filled with gratitude because something wonderful happened in 2021. And you decided to go back to the Center for Spiritual Living on Green Lake and celebrate. Woohoo! Get that feeling, the woohoo! What would make you that happy? Let your heart reveal it now. Let your heart reveal it. And in that, notice what you gained. What did you gain in consciousness? And what did you let go of? Because usually, now think about it, if you take a step forward, you have to fall forward and let go of the security of the ground under your feet for a moment. To move forward, we need to not be where we are. So imagining yourself December 31, 2021, what did you let go of so that you could be celebrating right now? What did you gain? What did you release? What are you celebrating? And let that image be so full in your mind. Imagine the warmth of the people around you. You know how sometimes when you're standing close to people, you're not even touching, but you can feel the warmth of their body? Feel that. Stand up. We're going to have a stand-up song, and I want you to feel the ground under your feet. See yourself, feel yourself, smile. You're so happy. Now just take a moment, take a deep breath, because this is a heart-based visualization. Let yourself be pulled and not pushed.
We're pulled by a vision instead of pushed by the past. This inner guiding light through the night will last. I know I'm safe and I don't have to run so fast. I'm pulled by a vision instead of pushed by the past. So I'm pulled by a vision instead of pushed by the past. This inner guiding light through the night will last. I know I'm safe and I don't have to run so fast. I'm pulled by a vision instead of pushed by the past. Sitaram, 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 sitaram.
And we here at the Center for Spiritual Living want to support you in getting from tonight to New Year's Eve 2021, and you smiling and your heart full and you so happy with what has happened. We want to inspire you to know that you can do it and empower you to do it. And sometimes we just need a little help from our friends. So we put together some programs that you can become involved in. One, we have Sanghas, which is a Buddhist term for spiritual community, but it's a small community. 6 to 10 people. Gina and I were in a Sangha together. Years.
Wonderful.
So a Sangha is a group that just meets once a month and prays for each other. It's simple, it's easy, and it's very powerful because you get to prove the power of prayer. So if that interests you, Janelle is working on this. So her email will be there. It's Janelle s@spiritualliving.org, or just all the things I'm going to say, just put your requests into info@spiritualliving.org. Another way to do this is that I call people up at night and remind them of who they are. Thoughts to sleep on. Oh, and over the last year, I think I've missed 5 nights, but I'm there almost every night at 8 o'clock, and you don't have to pick up. Someone said, 8 o'clock doesn't work for me. Well, take it as a message and listen to it anytime you want. But those are free. They're available. So that also, if you want to sign up for that, it's info@spiritualliving.org. And we're going to be having meditations now on Monday evenings so that you can find that calm place and breathe and breathe. There's so many ways that we want to inspire you and empower you. And just a little shout out to a workshop I'm doing on Sunday. It will be at 12:30, and it's about creating a sacred covenant with your God for the year you want to have. A sacred covenant. It's one of the things that I do every time I take a trip. I do a class. I don't know, something happens, there's a formula, and then God, it's your job. I did the covenant, it's your job. More about that on Sunday. So I hope you take advantage of the ways that we want to support you. We have so many support groups. All of them are listed on our website so that you can feel inspired and empowered. And then we want to celebrate with you. Oh, and guess what? One of the things that you also get to do is give. Why? Because it's an important thing to do. Why not? So all of the ways that you can give are now going to be listed on your screen because, we get by with a little help from our friends. This is when you should play the friends thing. Hey, I hope you're a friend of this center because we are able to keep the lights on and do all that we do because we've actually done more during COVID. No people in the house, but we're doing more during COVID than we were before. So we're not downsizing. And we get by with a little help from our friends. Oh, we get by with a little help from our friends. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Ooh, we get by with a little help from our friends. So if this place inspires you, helps you, encourages you, if you feel the love, because I'm telling you, there is love in this room, and I love you. I don't see you, but I love you so much. If any of that is getting through, then I hope that you allow the law of reciprocity to work through you, and you give again, so that we can care for each other and make sure that the caring goes on. I wish you the happiest of New Year's. Make it fresh, make it real, make it powerful, and let the lessons be for your good, because that's what you'll take with you from year to year and eternity on. So happy eternity. And I just have to close with this one saying, which is, we do have a tradition. There's a tradition, and I'll tell you, every musician has bowed to that tradition, because there's one song I love, and it's Everything New. Daniel Namod, I love you. I'm going to send you a clip of this. And every musician has done it differently. So, of course, it had to be done differently by Gina. But it's still the same idea, because I'm ready for new. Gina!
Bring it on. Everything new. Everything different. Everything true. I am ready for the next thing to do. All I know is gonna be everything new. I'm through crying. something that seems long gone, may never return. I think I've finally learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. All I know is gonna be everything new. I release all my grievances and my gripes. I release 'cause the past is gone. I allow all the new power of love to make this a brand new song of life. Bring it on. Oh, everything different, everything new. I am ready for my next thing to do. All I know is gonna be everything new. And the power of love makes all things new. And I choose to see with the eyes of love and let it shine through. Why? Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Yeah, yeah, because the one I love lives inside of you and me and all. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of all. I choose to lean in as I can. Bring it on, because the one I love lives inside of you and me and you. I lean as close to you as I can. And let's sing that word of love. I love you, 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 just as you are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love you, 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 I love. Who is loving when we love? I love you, 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 I love. Who is singing when you sing? I love you. Sing yourself. I love you, yeah, yeah. I love you, just as you are. To each other, I love you, I love you, I love you. I bless and release you. I love you, I love you, just as you are. Oh, 2020, I bless and release you in love. Why? Because the one I love lives inside of all. I choose to leave as I can.